Welcome to SATV News. This is Nuri Alamin with the headlines. Parliament passes a total number of 12 bills today, including the National Human Rights Commission bill. ICT sentences 2 policemen to death and 3 to life imprisonment in Abu Said murder case. Government to initiate immediate media reform to make promises tangible, said Information Minister. Now in details. Parliament today passed a total of 12 bills, including the National Human Rights Commission bill, in a bid to endorse or repeal the relevant ordinance promulgated during the interim government. Of the bills, 9 were passed, keeping the provision of 2 ordinances intact, while 3 others were passed by repealing earlier ordinance. Among the 3 bills passed the repeal the ordinance, and the House passed the National Human Rights Commission Bill 2026 in order to reinstate the National Human Rights Commission Act 2009 by repealing the relevant ordinance released during the interim government as well. And the relevant minister or state minister placed and moved the bill in the House, and the Speaker piloted the bills to vote. Later, Member of Parliament passed the bill by voice vote. The 9 bills passed retaining the interim government ordinance include National Sports Council Bill, Bangabandhu Krisha Shiba Kalyan Foundation Bill, Sheikh Hasina National Youth Development Institute Bill, Bangladesh Energy Regulatory Commission Bill, the Public Procurement Bill, the Overseas Employment and Migrant Bill, the Bangladesh Labour Bill, Local Government Bill, and Legal Aid Services Bill. The 2 other bills passed the repeal the earlier ordinance are Supreme Court Secretariat Bill and the Supreme Court Judges Appointment Bill. The International Crimes Tribunal today sentenced 2 individuals to death and 3 others to life imprisonment in a crime against humanity case over the murder of Abu Said, who is recognized as the first martyr of the 2024 mass uprising. Other accused were given varying term of imprisonment, and the verdict was delivered on Thursday by 3-member International Crimes Tribunal 2, led by Justice Nazrul Islam Chaudhry. The other 2 members are the Tribunal of Justice Manzoorul Bench and Justice Nur Muhammad Shahriar Kabi. The individual sentenced to death are the former Assistant Sub-Inspector Amir Hossain and the former Constable Sujan Chandra Roy. Those sentenced to life imprisonment are former Assistant Commissioner of Police Muhammad Arifuzzaman, former Inspector Rabiul Alam, and the former Sub-Inspector Buddhibhushan Roy. The investigation report into Abu Said's death was submitted to prosecutor on June 26, 2025. Information and Broadcasting Minister Zohiruddin Shapon today said the government is set to take immediate steps to reform the country's media landscape, aiming to turn abstract promises into concrete action. It is very much essential to move beyond the theoretical discussion and start practical work with all stakeholders, he said, while addressing a discussion titled Bangladesh Reform Tackle, the Relevance of Media at the Economic Reporter Forum Auditorium in the capital. The ERF and the Citizen Platform for SDG Bangladesh jointly organized a discussion highlighting the critical moment for reform as a new minister under a new government. The Shapon identified several priority areas for immediate attention, including the Media Reform Commission and the journalist welfare and the policy development. He said the government is considering reconstructing the Media Reform Commission potentially along the lines of the British model. Shapon stressed the need for clear advertisement policy, transparency in newspaper circulation figure. Speaking at the event, Dr. Debapriya Bhattacharya said the initiative aims to link institutional reform with political commitment to assess the actual impact of the life for the mass common people. Voting in the Bogura 6 by-election and the general election in Sherpur 3 for 30 national election ended earlier today, with counting now underway. According to this election commission, polling was held from 7:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Voting in Sherpur 3 had earlier been postponed during the February 12 national election following the death of a valid candidate. A fresh schedule was later announced for the seat. The Bogura 6, the candidates are BNP nominee Mohammad Rizal Karim Badsha, Bangladesh Jamaat Islami Abidur Rahman, and Bangladesh Development Party candidate Mohammad Alamin Talukdar. The security was tightened for the poll, and the seat fell vacant after BNP chairperson Tariq Rahman, elected from both Bogura 6 and Dhaka 17 in February. Close to retain the Dhaka constituency in Sherpur 3, the contender are BNP Muhammad Mahmudul Haq Rubel, Bangladesh Jamaat Islami Muhammad Masjidur Rahman, independent candidate Muhammad Aminul Islam, and BASD nominee Mizanur Rahman. Meanwhile, candidate Masjidur Rahman announced the boycott of Sherpur 3, alleging the various irregularities. Amid the concern over supply, two more vessels carrying 51,000 tons of octane and furnace oil arrived at Chattogram port today. Of the vessel, the Marshall Island flagged MT Central Star is carrying 26,000 tons of octane from Malaysia. Besides, another tanker, MT Stan Quench, is carrying 25,000 tons of furnace oil. Chattogram Port Authority Secretary Soid Rifat Hamim informed the vessel entered the port water on Wednesday, but arrived at Outer Angles today. 5 more vessels carrying the liquefied natural gas and liquefied petroleum gas are scheduled to arrive in the country by 15 April, he also said. Nor'wester likely in Dhaka 4 other division. The Bangladesh Meteorological Department has predicted rain or thunder shower accompanied by temporary waterlessly nor'wester in 5 division, including Dhaka over the next 12 hours commencing at 8 a.m. on Thursday. Rain or thunder shower accompanied by temporary waterly or northwesterly. The northwest is strong with squall speed 60 to 80 km per hour or more are likely to occur at places over at Dhaka, Khulna, Barishal, Chattogram and Sylhet division during the next 12 hours, said a Met Office bulletin. The bulletin added that lightning and hail occur in isolated places among the northwester. According to regular Met Office update, rain or thunder shower accompanied by temporary gusty wind and lightning flash are likely to few places over Rangpur, Dhaka, Mymensingh, Khulna, Barishal, Chattogram and Sylhet division. On the 2 places over Rajshahi division with hail or isolated location, day temperature may fall by 1 to 2 degrees Celsius, while night temperature may drop slightly across the country. Viewers, we're taking a short break. Stay with us.
Hello and welcome to International Affairs, and my name is Shamsul Alam Panta.
I don't see an easy resolution to this because every slight deviation from the plan,
opening an open war conflict with them,
testing nuclear missiles,
Russia's announcement of these supposedly successful testing,
special and exclusive footage that is being played on SATV screen,
really coming to terms with Hamas.
Damage estimated between this entire issue.
President Trump is expected to hold bilateral talks.
preserving biodiversity and tackling climate change.
We cannot protect the planet before we negotiate peace.
Where is it going? Is it understanding the needs of its people before the needs of this global world?
For China to come to agreement,
They will face better projects.
With President Xi of China and President Lee of South Korea.
Trump's White House that is in favor of these things.
simply not enough action being taken.
Welcome back, and you are watching SATV News. Now, news from abroad. US President Donald Trump said on Wednesday all US ships, aircraft and military personnel would stay in place in the Iran Iran until it fully complied with the deal. All U.S. ships, aircraft and military personnel with additional ammunition, weaponry and anything else that is appropriate and necessary for the lethal prosecution and destruction for an already substantially degraded enemy will remain in place in around Iran until such time as the real agreement reached is fully complied with, Trump said in a post on Truth Social on Wednesday. Trump is dispatching his Iran negotiating team led by Vice President SATV Pence in Pakistan, according to the White House. Iran said 3 clauses of ceasefire proposal were violated ahead of the negotiation. Iran's parliament speaker, Mohammad Bakir Khalifa, said on Wednesday 3 of key clauses for a 10-point proposal were violated before the negotiations and set to start on Friday in Pakistan, adding that in a such situation a bilateral ceasefire and negotiations were unreasonable. The breaches included the violation of a ceasefire in Lebanon, the entry of intruding drone into Iran aircraft and denied the Iran's right of uranium enrichment, and said a post on X. An Iranian delegation will arrive in Pakistani capital Islamabad on Thursday night of talks to resolve conflict with the US, Israel and Iran's ambassador to Pakistan said. On Thursday, despite skepticism of Iranian public opinion due to repeated ceasefire violation by Israel regime, Iranian delegation arrives based on 10-point proposed by Iran ambassador Reza Amiri Mokaddam, said in a post on X. Iranians on Thursday gathered on the street of Tehran to mourn the 40 days since Ali Khamenei's death, carrying Iranian flag and portrait of Khamenei and his son, the Mojtaba Khamenei, the country's new supreme leader. In Tehran, large commemorative billboards were displayed and a large Lebanese Hezbollah flag were visible on one building, while crowd moved toward the compound where Khamenei was killed at the start of the US-Israel war on February 28. Organizers scheduled the main procession to begin at 9:40 a.m. on local time, symbolically matching the moment when Mr. Khamenei's official residence in Tehran was stuck at the outside of conflict. Mr. Khamenei's son and designated successor, the Mojtaba Khamenei, has not appeared publicly since assuming the petition for supreme leader in early March. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said on Wednesday Israel still had more goal to achieve, warning it was ready to renew fighting in any moment. He also said during a news conference that enriched uranium will be removed from Iran either by agreement or by force. Meanwhile, Israel's opposition leader Yair Lapid said on Wednesday the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu would try to present the Iran campaign a success, calling such claim an utter lie. What happened in a diplomatic disaster on a scale I don't recall. I have been a prime minister. I have been a foreign minister. I don't remember such a diplomatic collapse, he said during a pressure in Tel Aviv. Lapid said it will take years of repair to damage caused by Netanyahu's policies in a crisis and criticized Iran's absence from the decision-making process. Lebanon is not included in the term of a 2-week ceasefire arrangement between the US and Iran, and the White House spokeswoman Caroline Leavitt said on Wednesday. Leavitt also added that President Donald Trump is dispatching his Iran negotiating them, led by Vice President SATV Pence, to Pakistan for talks, adding that the first round of negotiation would take place on Saturday. US President Donald Trump believed NATO was tested and they failed during the Iran war, adding the Leavitt said, sharing a direct quote from Trump ahead of the meeting with NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte at the White House. He also mentioned we will be discussing with Rutte the possibility of United States withdrawal from NATO.
A little bit later this afternoon.
I have a direct quote from the President of the United States on NATO, and I will share it with
Israel Army spokesperson said on Wednesday that area south of the Litani River is disconnected from Lebanon and operations are ongoing to keep it demilitarized. Israel struck Beirut southern suburb just before midnight and at dawn, and hits down across the south on Thursday morning, according to Lebanese state media. Lebanon Civil Defense Service said 254 people have been killed. Israel strike across Lebanon on Wednesday, and more than 1,500 people have been killed in Israel air and ground campaign across Lebanon, including more than 130 children and more than 100 women since March 2, when Hezbollah started firing rocket Israel solidarity with Tehran. Israel has issued the evacuation over the covering around 15%.
To address the problem of fossil fuels.
What their plan initially is towards the Caribbean, a place that has been met with two types of disasters.
Bangladeshi students at the same level of opportunity internationally and domestically.
Union authorities should consider a temporary suspension for budget deficit rules if the US-Israel war against Iran flames up, again, Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni told to Parliament on Thursday. Meloni also said her government was ready to take every possible measure to prevent such a political substitute behavior on energy prices, including the windfall taxes on energy company. We believe that discussing a possible temporary suspension of a stability and growth pact should not be taboo. Not a waiver for individual members stated, but a general measure. Meloni said her remark come as the government is preparing to cut GDP growth estimate for 2026 following the year March, making it more difficult for Italy bring to desist the binge EU 3% of GDP sailing this year as planned. Before ending, we go through the SATV News headlines again. Parliament passes 12 bills to clear or repeal Ordinance Human Rights Commission bill among the passed one. ICT sentences 2 policemen to death and 3 to ceasefire imprisonment in Abu Said murder case. Government to initiate immediate media reform to make promises tangible, said Information Minister. You are up to date with the top stories so far here on SATV, and to know the latest news, visit www.satv.tv. Stay with SATV.